Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And as you can tell by the title, by the thumbnail, and because of this guy right here, we are making a video because we have been linked with Enzo Le Fée, or Le Fée. I'm pretty sure you pronounce it Le Fée, but as you know, I butcher names a lot. But I am pretty sure it is Le Fée because it has the little thing on the E. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But before we do get into it, I just want to quickly apologise. I know there hasn't been much content over the last few days. If you saw the community tab over the weekend, I've been absolutely battered with the flu. I've been so ill. I'm still not even nearly 100% to be honest with you. And to make things worse, the other morning I bit my lip that hard that I've absolutely busted to pieces, which didn't help when I've been feeling like shit for so long as well. So I'm trying to cover it up, but it still looks a little bit dodgy. So if you're wondering what the hell's wrong with his lip, there you go. Not that you care, but here we are. But yes, we have been linked. And a few days ago, we were originally linked with Enzo Le Fée. I'm going to say Le Fée. Apologies if that triggers. But Enzo Le Fée, we were linked with him. There was rumours that there was a couple of different teams that were after his signature. But Sunderland were mentioned. And I thought, it's just lazy journalism. It's purely because at Lorient, because he worked under Reece Foulds. That's the only link there. Sunderland are currently an up-and-coming club with young players. He's a 24-year-old lad. He's got loads of potential. It's just easy to just stick Sunderland to it. So I didn't really think anything of it. However, over the last sort of 24 hours or so, there's been a lot of very believable, trustworthy, reputable, and highly, highly followed journalists from across Europe who are all reporting the same thing, essentially suggesting that Sunderland are leading the race. Yeah, and there is a few contenders for this man's signature, but Sunderland are apparently leading the race to get this man's signature on loan. And a few have suggested that there will also be a signing clause at the end. I don't know whether that would be based on promotion or not. I would assume it would be. But honestly, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know him inside and out. But I have seen a lot of this lad, and only, or at least some of this lad, should I say. I'm not going to say I watch him week in, week out, because I don't. It was only a year or two ago when he was linked with the top six in the Premier League. Apparently he's on the brink of signing for Manchester United. In the summer, he just signed for Roma. And prior to that, he signed from Lorient, who, of course, he was managed by Reece Foulds. He had a season there, had a decent season there. And then, of course, he had another big money move to Roma. So it seems like his stocks were only on the up, and he's been looked at by some of the real heavy hitters across Europe. And you might be thinking, well, why is he coming to Sunderland then? Why would that intrigue him? If you have a look at Roma's transfer window in recent times, or at least the last couple, they've absolutely smashed that central midfield role to bits. They've got so many players there. They have such a backlog of high quality players. And even if you look further afield, like moving up a little bit, because he is more of a number 8/number 10. They have actually Dybala in that same team. Like, how on earth is he going to supposed to get him, in front of a player as fantastically talented and technically gifted as Paulo Dybala? That's almost it's a really tough ask. But he is a fantastic player, someone who can play as that number 8 or as the number 10. Very creative. Is great at set pieces. Is someone who can find a pass. He has that technical, that intelligence on the ball. Very, very good pass for the ball for one, and very, very positive, which I think we need. And I'm trying to picture where he would play. I don't think he would be that sort of anchor that Dhannoo is. Or that role that Dhannoo plays. When we do play that trio in midfield, I know in recent weeks we've played a 4-4-2, but when we do play that trio in midfield of Dhannoo just in front of the defence, or at least the holding role, and then Job and Rig either side, a bit pushed further forward, he would probably be there, which raises the next question. Where would he play? And that brings into the next set of transfer news where essentially, of course, Riggs always going to be linked with different teams, particularly Manchester United in recent times. I think that may be a summer thing if that is going to happen. Job has been very, very heavily linked with Crystal Palace. He was in the summer as well. But again, there has been a lot of rumours and reports that apparently there's sort of like a gentleman's agreement going along at the moment with Job and the club, that essentially if a Premier League club do come with a decent enough offer that we must accept, and that is just a sort of gentleman's handshake at the moment with Job. Again, that is just rumours. The same thing happened with Jack Clark. That's what it's been compared to. With Job, if a 20-odd million offer coming for Job, and I think in years to come, it's going to be worth way more than that, and he probably should be going for more than that anyway, but I think with him being a championship player, I think he could be 25, 30 very, very soon in terms of millions. I think we would probably end up accepting. I think just to keep the player happy as well as getting a good deal for ourselves. Hopefully that isn't the case. I would like to see Jobe grow with us, particularly if we go up. I would like to see him grow with us. He looks like he's very much enjoying his football. He's bought into the club, the culture and all that, which are not a lot of players do get it, and he does get it. It seems anyway, and he seems to love pulling on the red and white shirt. So he's happy. But if a Crystal Palace or an Arsenal, who have been rumoured as well, if someone like that comes in with a 25 million, 30 million offer, I think we'd find ourselves with a very, very unsettled, unhappy Jobe if we rejected that, which I know we need to try and balance for both sides to be happy, the player and the club, but there we go. So circling back to Enzo here, where would he fit? And I think it really isn't a case of just generally just dropping one. I think we need the rotation anyway. I know Rodgers seems to only trust sort of 12 players out of the 20-odd we've got, and I know we have a massive mounting injury list. But you can't just repeatedly stick to the same trio midfield, which is what he has done. He's been forced to change it due to injuries or suspensions at times. But he generally does like to stick with that midfield trio of Jobe, Dan Neil and Rigg. For me, it'd probably be Rigg at this moment in time that would lose his place to an Enzo, because you've got Dan Neil kind of working the using the hold-up play and starting off the attacks and building up, and then you've got Jobe, who has that sort of box-to-box mentality, and then someone like a Enzo Le Fée or Le Fée to drive us forward and be that cog between midfield and the strikers in the final third to break forward. And I think that would be an outstanding trio. And I said this online the other day, someone like a fully fit Samid, who of course we've never seen yet, in a Sunderland shirt anyway, a fully fit Samid, and someone like an Enzo Le Fée or Le Fée in the Championship on paper, for me, is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. If you had them two fully fit, you've got Champions League or at least Europa League quality midfielders just sitting in the Championship for Sunderland, which is mental in itself. But I don't want to overdo it, because it could be, in the end, bollocks. It might not come to fruition. But there's a lot of meat to this at the minute, and it would be an absolutely huge statement signing. And I think that could maybe get the ball rolling for other transfers as well, because if some other maybe teams or young players across Europe who aren't quite getting the game time they need, they might think, shit, if someone of his calibre is going to Sunderland, they are on the up, they're challenging for the top two, why won't I go and get involved in that? Do you know what I mean? So there's a domino effect, there's a butterfly effect and a rippling effect that could go on here. For me, I'm hoping that, Jobe and Rigg do stay. Of course I do. And to add Enzo to that, Samidi, it looks like he's going to be picking up games and coming back to fitness very, very soon. Maybe even as early as this weekend, potentially, against Stoke in the Cup. That'd be very nice to see him finally. I don't quite expect to see the Samid that I thought we were going to get when we first brought him in, given he's been away for so long. But I really hope it does work for him. And maybe he comes at a perfect time, because there has been a lot of reports, as I say, about Dan Neil, who hasn't signed a contract yet. I don't think he's going to leave, but you just never know, do you, in the craziness of a transfer window. But yeah, like I say, Enzo Le Fée, who is the vocal point of this video, fantastic, outstanding player. Absolutely outstanding player. He has played 10 games already for Roma, as I say. 24 million euros it cost them to buy him. He was highly sought after from many Europa League and Champions League clubs over the last couple of seasons. So to come to Sunderland, and maybe he does want to get back to playing regular and under a coach that knows him very, very well, it does make sense. And honestly, I think if we sign him, I just want everyone to get excited, because he is an outstanding quality act. And I would hope, of course, that doesn't necessarily always translate from Europe to the second tier of English football, because it is a very, very different game. But I'm going to be very, very excited if we sign this man, and he would probably be the first name on the team sheet. And that's amidst a lot of talented players that we do have on our ranks at the minute. But yeah, that's everything, guys. Of course, that's been rumours about a few other players, but I've just been taking a breather and relaxing a little bit, and I will get into that at some point. But honestly, I just feel like shit. If to be honest with you, I've been so ill, and my lip is doing my nutting. Every time I talk, it feels like someone is piercing my lip with a knife. But either way, guys, hope you've enjoyed. If you're excited, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button for me. If you're new, subscribe for me. But for now, take care, stay jammy. How are the lads?